when we first met, what was the biggest challenge that you were experiencing at the time?
Procrastination, putting things off, and just not taking action like I used to. I used to get up, know exactly what I was doing. Every day was like full of intention, and then slowly just sort of started to do less and less and kind of just drift through the day was the main thing.
Okay. How long were you experiencing the procrastination for?
Probably about a year or so. So I know obviously we'll come into this, but you know, ever since I launched the business in like 2018, it was like year-on-year growth. And then we basically just hit like a sticking point, plateaued, had some rough months. And then that sort of like kickstarted it. And then you're like, right, it'll turn around. And then I think slowly just that inner belief started to like diminish. So then I started to just take a little less action. And it was probably in the end, like a good 6 to 12 months of not getting up and doing the shit that I knew I should have been doing.
And when you look back, what were the reasons why you weren't able to do the things that you needed to do?
It sounds so cliche. It's just it's the belief. I just, for the first time ever, you know, I'd taken a punch in the face in business, and I think it just kicked the ego. And then there was just that little voice of like, you know, are we going to be able to turn this around? I remember speaking to somebody else that's in the same space as me, who's like, we started at a similar time, similar sort of level, somebody I respect. And we were talking, and he was like, bro, do you really think we're ever going to get back to where we were? Like, you know, the bubbles burst on this, it's a sinking ship. And I come away from it like genuinely thinking like, fuck, like is this it? And I really started to like internalize it and I think believe it. So although I was taking action, not as much as I used to, I think there was this little voice at the back of my head being like, what's the point? So coming into this year, 2025, I remember saying to Sandy, you know, like, let's fresh slate, new year, like, let's fucking go. We've got to turn this around. You know, this can't be it, sort of thing. And then of course, you know, it's when a couple months later, shot you a message and started the comeback.
So we met, this was in what, like April?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, March, April time, I think.
I remember we spoke over DM.
Yeah.
We met the next day in person in Dubai.
Correct.
Immediately started working together.
Yeah.
We had that first session very shortly after, if not.
I think it was all within like 3-4 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we did that first session, how would you describe the process of that? For somebody who's never, because it was your first time doing a hypnosis, right? You probably never even thought about hypnosis, right? It's pretty different.
So Sandy, who, if any people watching this, she's hiding in the kitchen prepping for an event. She had said to me a couple of times, have you thought of hypnosis? And I was like, I'm not doing that. I just thought of the old school weight loss, you know, quit smoking, soft. It's kind of what I'd associated with it. And then the reality of it with you was like completely fucking different. You know, I've been on stage at my events and told my students this year that it's like one of the most important things that I've done, you know, over the past few years, for sure. It's like the catalyst for turning the business around, in my opinion. So bit of a tangent, but what to expect and what that session is like is it's a coaching session, and then combined with some rocket fuel at the end of it. I just remember, obviously I wouldn't have contacted you, consulted you and gone ahead if I didn't think it was going to work. You know, I wasn't skeptical as such, but I think just trying to be realistic. You know, it'll be like I might feel a little bit better afterwards, and then you do another session and another session. And something that you'd said to me is, when we were going through the process of onboarding, you know, I'd said, should we try and book in like 3 sessions back to back in the first week just to get this going? You were like, you're not going to need to do 3 sessions, back to back really quickly. Like, one session is going to give you a huge jump as it is. And I underestimated it. That first session, I don't know if you remember, but when you finished, I opened my eyes, I had this big smile on my face, I had loads of energy. I drove back with the music full blast. I think I got 2 speeding tickets. Not that I'm recommending that. I
didn't know that.
I stopped at Spinneys and I bought flowers for Sandy, which I never do unless I've done something wrong. And I came in the house and she was taking our coaches meeting. And I was like, stood behind her, like, wrap it up. And she looks at me, she's like, what the fuck's happened to you? I gave her these flowers. I was like, I'm so sorry for just being procrastinating, lazy, just a fucking sack of meat for the last 6 to 12 months. Let's go for lunch. She was like, what has this guy done to you? And then from the next day, just, relentless action with work. So for anybody that's wondering what the session is like, it's like a coaching session with somebody that seems to get it, challenges, gives good advice, but then has the secret sauce, which is the hypnosis, which I think I said to you on another session that I think has been the missing piece for any form of previous sort of like consulting or mentoring that I did. It really is that's like the secret bit that actually makes the change happen, in my opinion.
100%. So after that, you did that first session, and I remember it was like 37 days to our next session.
Mm-hmm.
So it went from being, you wanted to do 3 in the first week to not needing one for 37 days.
Yeah. So
in that 37 days, what happened?
So number 1, took action. Number 2, just had that belief, but there was this whole idea of like the bubbles burst had just disappeared. And it was just like, absolutely not. Like, we can fucking do this. Then there was a certain number that we had set as just a profit goal, not a revenue goal, a profit goal. And during the hypnosis session and on the recording, you say, and 30 days from now, you check your spreadsheets and you see that number's in there. You've hit X profit. So obviously I listen to this every day, reinforcing it. And then literally 1 month later, Sandy does all of our, P&L and stuff after the month. And she's like, hey, come check this out. And the number that you and I had agreed on profit wise, we'd hit within the 30 days like you'd predicted. And then of course, we'll come to it in a second, but then on our second call, we'd set a revenue goal, which we fucking smashed through, which is now a big PB if you want to go through that or...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so basically, obviously first session was just really getting me to take action and whatnot, that inner belief, and setting the profit goal that I mentioned, cross that off. And then the second session was obviously building on that, setting kind of new standards, and a big number that I'd wanted to cross for a while was 300,000 GBP. And in August, we did 342,000. So, pushed through it pretty quickly. So it was like profit goal within 30 days, tick. Revenue goal after that. I think it was probably 2 months after that second session. We did that.
In USD?
USD, I think it's around 450,000 USD. So, almost $500,000 a month. So, mission accomplished. Happy with that. And then now it's setting the next goals.
And what's the next one?
Next one will be $500,000 a month, and then want to obviously hit the 7 figures a month, so $1 million a month. That's the goal. And I never used to say that and believe it.
Yeah.
Whereas now Sandy and I are genuinely like, we can see it happening. Like, it's just control the inputs, do X, Y, Z. It's inevitable, and we feel it. We're going to get obviously months that crash, months are a little bit slower. That's business. But there is this inner belief that, within the next 12 to 18 months, we'll hit $1 million a month for sure.
And that's one of the biggest things I've seen with you. It's that absolute certainty that you have, which I think you probably had before we met at points, right? But it was like getting that back and some.
Yeah. So basically, ever since I started working, whether it was like gym floor PT, whether it was online coaching, whether it was mentoring, it sounds really arrogant, but I'd only known up.
Yeah.
Like I'd only ever had a better month for years. So I guess my time was due. And obviously I hit the plateau hit the volatile period. And I think that just kind of knocked that confidence. Like that certainty used to be there, and then it just sort of wavered a bit. And it's like that first session that we did just brought it back and then some. And now it's like, right, here we go.
What about the other areas of your life? So that's like business, wealth. What about like your health, relationships, or any other aspect?
Yeah, good question. So I think it's carried over into sort of business and personal. Just having tough conversations much faster. Just overall, just more confidence. Just doing what needs to be done, whether business or personal. I think just overall confidence. I've got some of my students that have been in the program working with me for 4 or 5 years. And after our last London event, I had quite a few different people say to me, like, something's different. Like, you just seem to, I don't know, you just come across different. And people were even saying, Sandy even comes across different. Like, the two of you have just got this different energy. So I think that was a significant upside. Health-wise, I used to train, compete in bodybuilding and so on. And then since moving out here, just really struggled to kind of get back into any form of consistency, just slowly got like skinny fat. And back now training. In the end, I've hired a trainer. I work with him 4 times a week, on it with my food, in good shape. Good shape, like, comparatively to a few months ago. Like feeling confident again, health-wise. Yeah.
What about relationship?
Yeah, Sandy and I, to be fair, maybe she's going to say different. Like, Sandy and I we've never had any real issues, So there's not been like a huge change there. Just maybe just me taking action faster. I'm probably in a better mood, more confident, more fulfilled, which then has to carry over to probably just being more laid back, probably just maybe laughing a bit more again. Whereas, when you've been somebody that's obviously like taken action and so on, and then that's been knocked, you kind of get to the end of each day feeling a bit like, I don't feel that fulfilled. I know I could have played all out. I know I could have done more. So subconsciously that must have an effect on mood.
Yeah.
Whereas now I think I'm just, of course I'm a human. So who doesn't have good and bad days or whatever, but it's like 90% of the time, I think I'm just pretty even keel, pretty stable, in a good spot. So that has to have had positive impact on our relationship as well.
I remember we talked about like that feeling when your head hits the pillow at the end of the day, and just feeling that like fulfillment, like you've shown up, you've done everything.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the best feelings you can get.
That's what I think was lacking is, I was just sort of, waking up and I was just doing what needed to be done. I was just like ticking boxes, turn up to the meetings I had to be on, whatever the minimum viable dose was, that's what I was doing. I wasn't going and doing the extra on top. That's the thing that's changed. And I think that's what's leading now to head hits the pillow. I'm like, I put in a shift today. Like, you feel proud.
Yeah.
And that can only reinforce, good mood, confidence and so on, which just spills over, I think, into team culture, my students, obviously relationship. So just a net positive overall.
That's how I see it. But it's like a top-down effect, right? You go to this next level and that touches every area of your life. So everyone else benefits from that as well.
100%. Agreed. Yeah. Yep. Health, conversations, business. All of it.
All right. A couple last ones for you. If you compare yourself, when was it, say 4 months ago or roughly then to now, what would you say the biggest difference is in that Adam versus this Adam?
Just doing what needs to be done. Even just, and nobody really likes this side of business, but the like hiring and firing just much faster, just tolerating a lot less. That's not being a dick, but it's giving somebody a shot. And if they're not meeting the standard, then it's just, before I would have probably let it eke out. Whereas now it's just taking action much faster, just doing what needs to be done across everything really. Like, I think that's the biggest thing is I've just stepped up. I was expecting to hit, 300 to 400K months, but I think my actions was somebody that's at 200K a month, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, right, now I'm doing the actions that I see that will get me to $500,000 a month. And I'm trying to be the person that's at the next income bracket above, if that makes sense.
You are being that person.
Yes. Yeah. Let's get rid of trying. Yeah.
And that's why you're doing it. That's why you're there, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's funny because like business wise, you're running the same business.
Yeah.
Everything in your business is essentially the same.
Yep.
The variable that changed is you.
Yeah. It's just, better with the team. And then also numbers. One of the things that I think I'd mentioned on our first session, just a slight tangent, but an important one, is I'd always told myself this, like, oh, I suck at numbers, haha. So whenever I would be on calls with like mentors or whatever, they'd ask me for data. I'd be, oh, I don't know, like numbers is my weak point. Like I suck at it. Since that first session with you, I've got dashboards on everything. I understand all the numbers inside out. You can ask me pretty much any stat throughout the month. I'll know it. So it's just taking that side of it seriously as well.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
For someone that is also experiencing what you experience, whether they're stuck somewhere, maybe they're procrastinating, they've got some kind of block, they know what they should be doing, but for some reason they just can't get themselves to do it. They've tried stuff. What would you say to that person who was where you were 4 months ago?
Yeah, I don't want to sound just like a sales pitch or whatever, but it's like, just do something about it. You know, like you can YouTube all the productivity videos that you want. You can install the app blockers on your phone. Yeah, you can do all this stuff. Restrict your screen time. But that's all like on a conscious level. Whereas I think what the hypnosis has done for me, I don't know the exact mechanism, but it's just like subconsciously, it's just rewired everything how I need it to be, basically. So yeah, if you're somebody that's like aware that you're not actioning as much as you should, if that belief has kind of wavered a little bit, if you've been trying to watch all the self-development videos and stuff that makes you feel good, but never really actually makes a difference a month later, then you got to look into the hypnosis. As I said earlier, it's the secret sauce. It's like the missing piece from everything else, I feel.
I love it, man. Well, I'm pumped to be at your event tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow I'm going to be there.
Yep. It's going to be good.
So we're coming full circle.
Yeah.
And then we'll do another one of these when you hit the 1 million a month.
100%. Yeah. I'm excited for everybody to experience what you're going to teach and run through tomorrow, and then 1 million a month. Let's make it happen. Cheers. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.